till I'm old. Can I live while young? Can I live while young? Can I live while young? Can I live while young?
All right. So I do have some questions for you, Mr. Greenberg. Just a few that have kind of popped up in my head over the years of seeing Runaway and hanging out at Phish shows. And question number one: What's it like being in a cover band for your favorite band? I know that that's like a baseline question, but do you ever get burnt out from playing or hearing or listening to Phish?
That's a great question, Austin, and one that no one has ever asked me. I've never even asked myself that question, actually, which speaks to the brilliance of Phish, or my perception of the brilliance of Phish. I think that if I ever start to feel burnt out, it's usually not the music, but it's that I'm actually not listening to it anymore. I think when you play the same music for a long time, the biggest danger is that you can start to become numb to it and not actually engage with it on a internal level. And so I do feel that if I get too superficial with it and I choose not to engage, that's the pathway for me to get burnt out on playing it. Again, I wouldn't be able to stay so readily engaged and interested were it not for the complexity and brilliance, both technical and compositional, of the music. And so, I mean, that's, again, what it's like covering your favorite band, is that, you know, it's easier to stay engaged and easier not to get burnt out, I would say.
Okay, my next question. Is it a daunting task to have to live up to the musical genius that is Mr. Trey Anastasio? Do you feel pressure to perform? And more so, you know, sometimes when I'm in the show or something, I like, you know, pretend, you know, that someone is listening to me as I'm talking to someone else. Do you play every night as if like Trey or like Paige is in the crowd, right? And you're like, all right, boys, got to put on got to blow it out of the water tonight because, you know, someone could be here, or like you have that mentality of like, let's light every show on fire?
Another great question. It is definitely daunting. And again, I like the challenge of it. But it's extremely, extremely difficult to cover Phish's music, and even more difficult to try and fully understand Trey's playing and the nuances of it, and really his mind, I'd say, as much as his playing, because I think that his live playing is very governed by his mind in an individual moment. That being said, I try not to focus on who's in the crowd, or think, you know, maybe somebody like Mike or Trey or Fishman or Page would be out there in the crowd. I try not to think about that. If thoughts like that start to enter my head, it's something that I try and stop as quickly as possible. When I first started playing this music, I think that there was a really, really clear, overwhelming sense about playing it, for sure, and I think that led me to be more likely to entertain worries like that someone would be listening and judging me as much. The longer I played the music, I think the dauntingness it modulates into a different kind, and that I could go on about that for hours, but I do think that it is now easier for me to be in the moment, rather than thinking about other things off stage. And I think ultimately, if I walk off the stage feeling really good about a show, it's usually because I'm not thinking about anything at all. And usually those shows, when I get off stage, I don't remember anything about the show. So I think that the intention is always to, blow it out and knock the cover off the ball. But I think as I've done it more and more, what that means to me has changed. And so in essence, I guess I'm always swinging harder, but it's not necessarily a metric of hardness. I don't know if you're following my train of thought, but if you are, then you understand. But if not, I'm just not speaking well.
All right, and lastly, Mr. Greenberg, I just like calling you Mr. Greenberg. It sounds official. If you could break bread with any member of the band, which, now that I'm saying this, I'm sure that you've met somebody from the band, or maybe you're like me, like I don't really want to meet them, right? Because I just like watching them up on stage. If you could break bread with one of the members, who would you break bread with, and what are your top 3 questions that you'd ask them? I like this.
Another great question. I have met Mike several times, and I have met Paige for like 2 seconds in New Orleans at one point. I have never met Trey, and I've never met John Fishman. And I think that, man, I really would love to hang out with all of them or eat food with all of them for very different reasons. It's hard for me to really pick one member because I feel like all their personalities kind of merge together to create Phish. I mean, obviously it would be crazy to hang out with any of them. So there's that. What questions would I ask them? That kind of varies also, like for each member. Top 3 questions total, I would say, like, I would a lot of the questions would be musical, things that it would be more something that I could jam about better than I could talk about. I'm not really sure that I would be as interested in kind of talking to them as playing with them, if that seems weird. I don't know. I just think that would be really fun, but talking to them, I would rather play with them first, I think. But I also have a million questions, and it's a good question, tough question. Wow.
All the facts that I learned, I sat in the chairs and my snaps just burned. Georgia Rich on just collects on my tongue. Fights to follow my vision.